Monday Monologue. This week, got a couple of new topics to go over. First, I think this is going to be our first little video series of the year. Somebody sent me a out-of-the-box Noob Sound 6P1. This was the little amp that kicked off this channel. I had never expected to be doing YouTube videos or even having a channel. I posted on Audio Karma about my success in improving this little amplifier, and somebody said, can you do a video and show us where that resistor is and point out some of the components? And I did that, and that was the start of this channel. So I've learned a lot since I first worked on this little amp. Got better test equipment, got new ideas, and so we're going to do a total revisit on the little Noob Sound 6P1 and see if we can get even more out of it than we got the first time, which was 2 clean watts of power. So that's on the plate. The other thing, the 47 globe tube amp. That's going to be our first major project. And on this one, I'm going to go from start to finish. I have no idea how I'm going to build this thing or how I'm going to wire it. And so I'm going to go through the whole process of figuring out the power supply that it needs, getting the output transformers configured, getting the tubes set up and biased, and then figuring out how I'm going to drive them and how I go through all of that with my limited math that I use on doing this sort of thing. I know a lot of people like to sit down with their scientific calculator and do pages and pages and pages of math. That's not how I do things. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just got a very different approach to how I improve and design amplifiers. None of this is rocket science. There's really nothing new. There's just different ways of combining things that people have done in the past, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. So that's going to be our first big project for 2022. The next thing I want to go over is I get a ton of emails and private messages, people sending me messages on the forum on my website or in the comments here on the videos, wanting me to video what the amp sounds like. Guys, that's a joke. Or at least I feel like it is. Because you're never going to really be able to hear what audio gear sounds like listening to a video on the internet through your computer speakers or whatever you're listening to videos on. It's probably not even close to being hi-fi for 99% of the population. And even if it is, the microphone that I'm going to use doesn't have the frequency response to really do any of this stuff justice. And you're not going to be able to hear anything that's going to sway your opinion one way or the other. And a couple of people have said, well, I'm interested in doing your mod, but I want to hear what it sounds like first. Guys, none of these mods we're doing to these amps are irreversible. You can wire them back up just like they were when they came out of the box if you don't think it sounds better when you're done. I will say I have yet to have anyone send me a message or comment saying that it didn't sound fantastic, both the A12 and the A50. And I wouldn't be posting these videos if I didn't know they sounded better. And so at some point you just have to have some trust and go try it. And just like I do with all this stuff, I try it myself and then listen to it. And even if it looks good on a scope, I go listen to it. One of those preamps did a great job on the audio analyzer suite as far as distortion and frequency response, but then when I listened to it, it sounded terrible. And so there is a point where you do have to just listen to it for yourself. And a lot of these things too, there's things that you can tune it to your speakers in your room that you have to do and what you think sounds good. And so, I mean, from now on, I'm just going to ignore any of these requests for me posting some kind of video of sound clips of what these amplifiers and the modifications sound like, because I'm not doing them. The last thing I want to go over is something that for 2022 I've got to figure out a solution to. And it's really become evident that this isn't sustainable the way I'm currently doing it. And that is doing ad-free videos, creating all of this content. And I know at one point I was thinking that Skunkie Designs was going to be some kind of amplifier manufacturer. And honestly, at least for a few years, I don't see that happening. I've got other commitments in my life that would keep me from doing some sort of a business venture like that, because I realize that if I do go into either production of amplifiers or even kits, there's a lot of customer support that's going to end up being required. And I know I've sold a couple of products to friends, and one of them I've been over to his house twice doing customer support for this phono stage that I built for him. And one time they had the source set to the wrong thing on their amplifier, and then the other time there was something wrong with this turntable. And but to the lay viewer or the lay user or consumer, whatever you want to call them, to them it's just like it doesn't work. And I realized that there's this whole customer support part of this that I have to be able to do to go into this business, and right now I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. So for now, it's just going to be this channel and video content. And for me to be able to continue to build projects and buy products and buy test equipment and do this stuff, I need some sort of income coming in. And so I'm seriously considering turning the ads on and monetizing the channel to try to get some income coming in. And I appreciate the donations people have made, but over the whole time that I've been doing these videos for about 6 months now, I think I've had maybe $200 in donations come in, and two or three t-shirts gotten bought, and that's not going to pay for even one pair of output transformers for a project. And so I know when I initially started this, I had said that I wasn't going to monetize the channel, and I hope it doesn't upset people. I know there may be some negative comments, there may be some people that unsubscribe because I do it, but I feel like for this to be a sustainable channel and projects, I need some income coming in. And from some calculations I've done, I think I can make enough money off monetizing the channel to afford to keep this content going forward and making some cool things. I'm probably also soon going to be selling some of the projects that we've done on the channel. Like, I'm going to likely sell the 6SQ7 EL34 amp that we built on the channel. And maybe put in the comments whether you think I should make it a eBay auction, whether I should put it up for sale on the channel, or should I make it just a listing on eBay for a fixed price and with a buy it now kind of a thing, or how you think I should try to sell some of this stuff to try to recoup some money so we can keep this rolling forward. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to 2022. I think that there's just tons of fun stuff that we can get done. I'm excited. I love making this content. I love working with my hands. I love mainly learning new things and sharing what I've learned with you. And I think y'all have watched me learn some of this stuff as we've gone down the pathway of experimenting with tube amplifier gear. So I hope you're enjoying the channel too. If you are, please subscribe, please like the video, and we'll see you next week for the Monday Monologue.